Good to go.
All right, we are live, and the New York Mets have crossed another thing off the list of things to be concerned about, because I'll tell you what, Meek Phil, we got Phil in here, Kevin on his way, Kyle probably running treadmills. Just beating the Marlins 3 out of 4 and doing what you should do against a team that has the flaws they have, it's just one more thing that puts my mind at ease as a New York Mets fan. How are you feeling, Phil, after that 4-game series?
I'm feeling very good. We went 5-2 on the homestand. Our only 2 losses were to last year's Cy Young and probably this year's Cy Young. So I'm very happy with 5-2 at the end of that.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect way to put very happy, or if someone would say chill, because what is this episode presented by? As always, it's presented by Coors Light, the beer that is made to chill, the official beer of everything unofficial as well. And they say, what summer activities are enhanced by Coors Light? Watching the New York Mets, because they help me chill. Coors Light helps me chill. Everything else in my life is pure chaos. I went to Newport for the weekend, got away from the kids for 2 days with the wife, and I came back, and it was absolute chaos as soon as we got home and in the morning. Plus, you have your barbecues, your graduations, your weddings. But when life is getting a little too chaotic, a little too hot, you reach for a Coors Light. And not only that, but Coors Light is going to give you a chance to win exclusive chill merch, fun local experiences, even a trip to New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles. Enter to win at CoorsLight.com/believe. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends August 15th, 2022. Game ends September 6th, 2022. 50 U.S. states, NDC 21 and older only. Void where prohibited. For rules, visit CoorsLightSummer.com. And when we're at the parade, what are we going to do? Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. I'm just going to celebrate responsibly. Will be a shirt when we win the World Series. That's what it's going to be. And it's going to be us on a goddamn float with Mr. Met eating cake punch and drinking Coors Lights. Kyle, welcome to the pod. How are you feeling after we win yet another series for the stat heads at home? According to our boy Steve Gelbs, the New York Mets have won 16 series. They've lost 3, and they've split 2. I think the New York Mets might be a good team this year.
I think you can pretty much set your watch by the fact that they're going to at least bounce back after 2 losses. So that bodes well in our favor in terms of the mathematicians out there. All the analytics nerds, here's a little stat for you. The Mets are good at baseball. They win series, and that's all you need to do to get to the playoffs.
Exactly. We're going to be we'll see you in October. And I don't want to out this person, but there was a fan of a rival team that works for Barstool that responsibly placed a book on the Barstool Sportsbook. And he said, I'm thinking about laying a responsibly hefty one on the Mets. Confidence after a loss at home on a day game. And then I got this stat from Ralph Michaels online. Since April 12th, off a loss, the Mets are 19-3 and 14-0 as a favorite of -120 or more. We might just start putting up Mets win every day on the Barstool Sports. We can boost it just a little bit for the Gotta Believe listeners, because we're dangerous when we go down in the game, and we're dangerous off a loss. This team is just fucking dangerous right now. This team is different. This team is dangerous. That might be the new fucking phrase now that we're about to hit July right now. So yeah, we got Kevin coming up in a little bit. We talked a little bit about the Marlins. Aguilar, was it COVID? Did they officially say it was COVID?
I think it was COVID. It's undisclosed, so I'm not going to guess. Well,
yeah.
I'm assuming we'll see them next weekend, so I was out of mind. Our focus is the Astros.
Wait, the guy who hit the home run, the grand slam, was he up because Aguilar's down?
Yes.
Of course. That's just how baseball works.
Yep, just how baseball works. Who's the guy that kills us? Brian De La
Cruz, and then he hit a home run Friday night that meant nothing. Brian Anderson's been out. That's why John Birdie's starting at third base, but
yep,
not an issue.
Yep, not an issue. Like you said, lost to the Cy Young award winner of last year in this homestand, lost to the Cy Young. I'm just getting him the Cy Young. Sandy Alcantara. Breaking news: Sandy Alcantara won the Cy Young this year. Until
by the way, they did enough to at least get us in the game. 2 runs.
Yeah, we needed to pitch better, and we probably needed 7 innings from Bassett or Lugo just to start the 7th inning. But
yep,
I'm not complaining about 3 out of 4.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna try to spin zone thing for my guy, the Puerto Rican here. There was a lot of anger at Lugo. People acting like bullpens don't blow games all the time. Seth Lugo is not what he was 3 years ago when he became my guy and every Mets fan fell in love with him. That's just how fucking age goes. Trust me, I know more than anyone on this podcast right now. He'll still be all right. He's just, we need to get a setup guy, whether or not Drew Smith becomes that guy or we get someone else to really hammer it home. But you know what? wife's pregnant, about to burst. Just, I'll tell you right now, that last month and a half of your wife being pregnant, and she looks at you, she can't sleep at night because the baby's, in her, she's getting big. She's like, I can't believe you did this to me. Our guy Seth was going through it there. I was lucky enough. I won a certain contest at Barstool that sent me to Las Vegas. That was my little baby moon. Seth didn't have that. He had to just go out there and had face hitters nonstop. So let's give Seth a break. The baby's out, happy, healthy. Hopefully everything's good. And then once he comes back, he's probably gonna have some sleepless nights with some bad, newborn baby stuff. Other than that, let's give Seth a chance to, come back home. But we got Pete Alonso, leads the league in RBIs right now. This is crazy. Kyle, you wrote this stat. The franchise record before July, it's Piazza was 68.
He's already got 64. I was dropping stats all morning on everybody's head. I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots if you think this team isn't incredible.
Incredible. I mean, at this point, it's just this podcast used to be it all goes back to the Wilpons, and they're going to be the reason why nothing's going to be good. This is just going to become a dick-sucking podcast at some point because I don't know what else to do. Francisco Lindor, getting hot again. The first shortstop in Major League history to have more than 50 RBI in 66 games or less since A-Rod. Motherfucking A-Rod, with God knows what was going through his system in 2000. He finished with 132. If Francisco Lindor hits 132 RBIs, I am never going to shut the fuck up.
Well, here's the other stat, and I don't know if I put it in the email, but he's got 11 home runs. Aaron Judge has 25 home runs, and he has 2 more RBIs than Aaron Judge.
And I know what the RBI stat means to people. It means about the same as the average stat. So this is the perfect way to combat all the average shit with the RBI stuff. And let me just say, a very, very, very hefty thank you to Mama Lindor. The queen of the New York Mets is Mama Lindor. She comes in town and her baby boy becomes everything that Uncle Stevie has been paying for, an absolute queen. And speaking of kings, we got Kevin Clancy joining us.
Did you just walk out of the Church of Cohentology? Is that what I just
There it is, right there. We meet every week. Dude, think about it. If your mom is at the ballpark, of course you're playing good, right? If my mom was there, I'd be like, my mommy's here. I love this. It's fine. Everything's good.
You get that home cooking? Makes a difference.
By the way, what is the deal? Like, what is the deal with his mom? Why was it the first time she was at the park?
She had a head injury in 2020, so that was the first time she made her way to the ballpark.
In New York. First time in New York.
Yeah.
Right. Because she was there in Cleveland a lot, and then not, and he said, she just disappeared, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? So, all right, happened here, she's good, and they're good, and that, fuck. I mean, could you imagine hitting a 3-run bomb in your first at-bat when your mom comes back from an injury and the first time that is one of the best home runs you can ever hit in your life.
Dude, I was thinking about this, and, obviously we're the two dads on the podcast. Like, there's times where you're looking at your phone or whatever, and I've actually made it a point. Like, everyone remembers when you used to look in the stands and you'd see your parents, it just gave you that rush inside, right? And I'm sure it doesn't change at all as you get bigger and better at the sport. And, I'm actually happy he kept Mama Lindor out of the stands last year because she didn't need to hear all the booing and all the, what the fuck are you paying him for? Now she's hearing cheers. She sees some Francisco Lindor's good shirts. By the way, anyone in the Mets PR team or Mama Lindor, if you're watching, listening right now, you have as many Francisco Lindor shirts for you, the entire Lindor family, the extended family, whoever wants them, because our boy is fucking blossoming. Those fucking plays in the field, too. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yo, one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard is that he uses a different glove every game.
Is that? I didn't hear.
Did you hear that when they were telling the story about how the Marlins first baseman lost his bags? The plane lost his bags, and they didn't have a backup left-handed first baseman's glove because he's the only lefty with the first baseman's glove. And so they started talking about the gloves, and they said that Lindor uses almost a different glove every game because he likes the stiffness. It's like, what is that about?
And they said that Ordonez did the same thing?
Yes. Ray Ordonez did the same thing.
Yep. Right. That's
I'm like, I don't know. Maybe more people should start doing it.
Yeah.
I hate, I hate more than a stiff glove, but I'm also as far as it gets, basically, from a Gold Glove shortstop.
You have to have, unbelievably strong, grip strength for that.
I guess, or you don't even, squeeze it. I don't know.
So our baby boy's looking good in the field and at bat. Pete is absolutely he's an MVP candidate right now. MVP. It feels like it's going to come down to him or Goldschmidt. Phil, is that a fair thing to say as of just in late June?
in late June because of Mookie Betts' injury and Manny Machado going down with, I don't know what's up with them. Yeah, it's going to come down to Peter Goldie right now. I think those are actually the two favorites on the Barstool Sportsbook. Don't quote me on that.
Yep. And I mean, it's like sometimes it just comes down to whatever guy has the best team, has the best record. If you're the best team in baseball, maybe that'll do it. Hey, if Lindor keeps this up, he might fucking split the vote, which kind of fucks that's what happened to what's his name? I remember RA wrote a blog about, or Darryl Strawberry got his vote split with McReynolds, and then Kirk Gibson just fucking dusted them and won the MVP that year, obviously before they won the World Series.
I mean, it'll probably be like, do you like if it depends on what both teams do, right? Like it depends on if the Mets make a run and if both teams make the playoffs, is it just going to be like, well, Goldschmidt bats 40 points higher? Will that be the difference?
Yeah. It just comes down to, I mean, if Pete leads the league in home runs and RBIs, you're leading in two of the three major categories.
That's the things we say that about Pete, but Goldschmidt's like right there with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you lead, but you only have like 2 more home runs and 3 more RBIs, and you know he blows you out of the water in average. But if it's like, if Pete ends up being like, it continues to be as clutch as he is and has like a million, you know, like there's just, I guess it depends on if the voters. I don't know what MVPs are anymore. I don't know what they vote for. Which stats matter, which don't. Are we talking about WAR? Are we talking about the old school Triple Crown? Are we doing winning? Are we doing clutch? Like.
Or we're gonna give a vote because he's just nice to reporters. I want to put him like up like this guy's an asshole.
I mean, you know, like nobody gives a fuck about Gold Gloves anymore. Like there's a bunch of things that have gone by the wayside, pitchers, wins, all that kind of shit. It's gonna get to the point where we don't care about MVPs because it's like we just know that it's a bunch of assholes voting. But I will say, you know, as much as we were. I'm a little bit hypocritical talking about RBI with Pete and then with Lindor too, where it's like we know it's not the best measure. I feel like RBI is something that you can't knock a guy for, but if you are getting a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position and you're always driving them in, then I think it does become a positive where it's like I'm not going to knock a dude who's playing on a shitty team who never has an opportunity. But Lindor's got a lot of opportunities with a lot of good players ahead of him getting on base, and he's driving all of them in. When you're getting compared to A-Rod in the year 2000, when he was at like his roid monkey like height, you know, you're driving in a fuck ton of guys. And same thing with Pete. It feels like every time they're up with guys on base, they're driving them in. And yeah, like I guess, you know, if you're doing sabermetrics and analytics and all that shit, it's not the end all be all. But as a 37-year-old dude, like as a guy who just watches baseball, when there are people on the bases and you drive them in and they touch home plate, to me, that's a fucking good thing.
And I was saying this right before you hopped on too. Like we got all the batting average thrown in our face by the Lindor, so now we're going to throw RBIs back. It's the same kind of stat where it can be flawed. However, let me say this about the RBI stat. As someone that has watched this Mets team the last few years, not drive in those fucking guys, and it drove us all absolutely batshit insane. I don't even think Frank the Tank even was like a living person. I think he just like he was almost like the Ghostbusters ooze and Ghostbusters 2. All our anger from the Mets created Frank out of the fucking abyss.
Oh my God.
And he's like Vecna in Stranger Things. Yeah. Every loss and every like time it just like builds more onto him.
And just having a guy that just drives and runs in. It's like Lindor's batting 242, but somehow he just always gets the hits when the guys are on base. That's fine by me. I love that. And our boy Nito, what do they say? He's like 352 with runners in scoring.
Crazy. I think Nito has like 13 hits, like 28 hits this year, and like 13 of them are with runners in scoring position.
I'll
like
take it. The whole you can't compare guys who don't have equal RBI opportunities. Right. But if you want to like break it down, like look at other shortstops and how many times, what are they batting with runners in scoring position? I'm guaranteeing you that Lindor will be at the top of that list because he gets a hit every fucking time.
If this was like, you know, the blockhead 90s with those sports writers, they'd be like, he's clutch. That's what they would just say. They just would call him clutch. And
I mean, you know, like obviously there's a limit to that. You know, Jeter was clutch, so he could do no wrong on a baseball field. That was stupid. But I mean, whether or not it wins you the MVP, I don't care because in the playoffs and when it matters, if there's runners on bases and you're driving them in, like that's fine by me. If old school baseball writers do or don't care about it, I don't care. As long as those
on the opportunities that the contact hitters are providing for you. Like the stat is insane to me, but Josh Hamilton in 2008, he had 99 RBIs going into the All-Star break. Right. Because there's people on base in front of him. Like He ended up with 130 because after that, nobody was getting on base. It's like,
It was,
if they're giving it to you and you're taking it, what else can you do?
Juan Gonzalez I think Juan Gonzalez had 100 at the break in like the 90s. It was nuts. It was like he's gonna. I remember there was one year where we legit thought he was gonna break the record. What is it? Honus Wagner has like 192 or something like that.
I think the record's like 194 or something.
Yeah,
like
I remember there was a Juan Gone year that was like we're halfway there and he's got over like 100. It was bananas.
I'm sorry, boys.
The reason Moneyball was working is because they were trying to optimize the 3-run home run. But now all of the guys in the lineup are the home run guys, and nobody else is getting on base except for our team.
I have to share it on the YouTube here, the Juan Gone baseball reference page from back in the day. It's one of my, like, you know your Barry Bonds and your stuff like that. Juan Gone is fucking stupid, some of his stats that he had. And then some of the years where he finished 9th in the MVP in a year, 42 bombs, 131 RBIs. Like,
dude, this is a different one. This is the year. Let me find the exact year. He had 101 before the All-Star break. 98. He 98. Went on July 5th, 1998, Juan Gone. He went 2 for 3 with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and that put him at 101 at the break. The second most by any player. Hank Greenberg was the other guy. He had 103 at the All-Star break in 1935. Greenberg, he missed all of the 40s while serving in World War II because we know how that goes. That's so crazy that like baseball guys just all went to war. You think about that. Like Juan Gone had 56 more RBIs that year, which is fucking probably still amazing, you know? And but you end up like not even close through that year, you know.
His 98, 318, 45 home runs, 157 RBIs, led the league in doubles as well with 50.
45 bombs and 50 doubles. Jeez Christ.
That Texas Rangers, like Juan Gone, Pudge, who else did they have there? They had,
Palmeiro still on the team.
Palmeiro, like that era of the Texas Rangers was just a fucking filthy team, man.
Can you pull up Barry Bonds for me? Because I saw a stat at Wrigley the other day. They were running like little did you knows. It said, I think it was just on Twitter. I just happened to be at Wrigley, whatever it was. What was Barry Bonds' on base percentage his final year?
480.
Get a job after that season.
I think that was the stat. It was that like no one has had a on base percentage higher than that since 2007 when he left, and he never had a job after that.
Yeah, never got an offer. They're like, no, that we're good.
132 walks, 480 on base percentage, 28 bombs, and they said, nah, nobody signed him ever again. OPS 1045, nobody signed him. I mean, fucking. Was that just like a blackball thing, or was that?
It had to be. It 100% had to be.
But as big of an asshole as he is, too, I'm surprised he didn't just sue the league. Like, he was already not even part of the Players Association, like all that shit. I'm surprised he didn't just sue the league of being like, clearly I have the stats to warrant a job. If
it wasn't for 2006, where he had that 999 OPS, he would have had an OPS over 1,000 from 1992 to 2007.
That's that point.
It was 999.
The one like 1,000.
Insane. Look at that. Look at 2001. 1379, 1381. I mean, it is fucking nuts, dude. Slugging almost 800 is over 800. 863.
I'm kind of pissed at us now looking back. Like, obviously the thing about the Mets was they needed a right-hander to crush the lefties, and after they traded Nady and then they got Alou, we should have been like, get Barry fucking Bonds on the team in 2008, right? Like how?
For real. Imagine that. Like if we, God damn it, that's so true. Like how the fuck do we not go get a guy like that? What do you think happened in between those MVPs? Like we know 91, 92, 93, he's like the 40-40 type of Barry Bonds, stealing bags and like being athletic. And then we know the end of his career was straight juice. Do you think it was like the type of steroids? Like what, I mean, not that he was bad, but you go from, you have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6-7 year gap before you go on a 4P. You were obviously doing steroids the whole time, right? Had to be
That
during like
Thorpe's in his late 30s too. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
The
like
word was they don't know
98.
exactly when, but that he was looking around the league and being like, "I'm better than these guys that I know are juicing." And then he
But
got
like
into,
that
the bodybuilder type shit.
That didn't start in 2001.
But once he got in with Balco, that was like high level science where it was like his body was just naturally producing testosterone. It was HGH.
Right.
That's just wild in general.
So that's what I mean. Like the type of steroids is what kind of changed at that point.
He went through puberty again at like 35.
Right.
Yeah.
he had double puberty.
And you could put Pittsburgh Pirates Barry Bonds as like a Hall of Famer. He won fucking, like he had 2 MVPs there. Then he wins his first one with his first year with the Giants, and it's just crazy. I mean, look, and you want to talk about someone who was just hated by the writers, right? It's like this guy didn't stand a fucking chance getting into the.
He's like Tom Brady. He could split his career up into 2 10-year periods, and both of them are Hall of Famers.
What's really, I mean, it is just nuts too. The 73 home runs is like on either side of it, not even a 50 home run season. Like, so he just, got walked so much and had so few opportunities. But in 2001, 2001, he probably saw like 80 pitches that were like home run pitches, and he hit 73 of them out. You know what I mean? Like it was just, it's disgusting. And
there's that one that he's facing Eric Gagne, who's juiced to the gills, throwing like 102, and he just turns it around like it's nothing. You're like, holy shit!
Look at the spike in intentional walks after 2001.
Yeah, I mean,
Buck walked him with the bases loaded. He was like, "Fuck it, we'll just win anneanyway."
Yep. Speaking of Howie Rose on yesterday. Officially requested. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Gene. Move on. I was told not to talk about this. Never mind.
Okay. I'm gonna give you some Bigelow tea.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but anyway, so the RBI stats. Obviously, Pete's ridiculous. Lindor is on a crazy pace. It's also just crazy seeing how it's a different game now, obviously, than it was back then. But Kev, before you hopped on, we said 2 losses in the homestand were to last year's Cy Young, and we've already given Sandy Alcantara this year's Cy Young. Breaking news, we got to believe.
Alcantara's like DeGrom-esque, where you're just like, forget this. Like the innings were lasting like 4 minutes at a time. He wasn't even when he started hitting 96 in like the 7th inning. And they were like, yeah, that's what he does. He just kind of like holds on to his velocity till he needs it. Like that is so cocky to be in the first innings being like, I'm going to throw like 80% because I don't need to. Like that's just next level shit. I can't even get mad at losing that game. And that's a series. I told you I was afraid of the Marlins. I'm not afraid of the Marlins anymore. Like that's a series that to me, that was a 3-game sweep plus this bizarre Monday wraparound 4th game. And Alcantara happened to be in the middle of that series, like whatever, see you later, doesn't count. But like that's another check off the list. Like the Marlins are usually motherfuckers. This is a letdown series, coming off of the big series, coming off of the big wins, all of that. And if it wasn't for a couple like walk-off magic wins with the Braves, we'd be right back at like an 8-game lead. So to everyone who was afraid and everyone who said it's going to be two games by this point, like we're back to a comfortable lead. The Braves threw their absolute best punch. I'm praying they don't have another 14 games in them. So I'm hoping that was the best ball they'll play all year. And if they do, then you tip your cap again. But like they threw their best punch, and we sit here today with like a 6-game lead, 5.5-game lead. Like all good, boys.
Yep. And they go to Chicago, lose 2 out of 3. A team lost 10 in a row. Like
that's baseball.
Yeah, that's baseball season. I can only imagine what Mets fans would have been like if the roles were reversed and they were the team that went to Chicago and lost 2 or 3. And Braves fans, I don't do this. I don't go to like the other Twitter community to see I just was like, let me just see if every other fan base is like us, and they were doing the same thing. Like, it was nice while it lasted.
No, Braves fans are fucking awful this week. And they were like, oh no, we didn't lose the game. The wind beat us. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Blaming the elements. We're blaming elements now.
Let me tell you this much. If we win the World Series and the next year, the very next season, I'm like complaining about individual games in June like that, put a bullet in my fucking head, you goddamn losers. Like you are literally world champions and you're give me I hate it. The fact that it's not just Mets fans. I thought it was just Mets fans. It's Phillies fans, it's Braves fans, and I'm sure it's everyone on social media. It is awful being a baseball fan on the internet in 2022. There's no fun to it. the arguments and the debates are about, scheduling and calendars. It sucks. I hate it.
If the Mets win this year, I'm going to be a casual fan the following season. I'll be like,
I'm done. I'm fucking done, dude. I'm never watching again.
Hang the jersey up in the rafters. That's it.
It's like Goodwill Hunting. Like Kevin just, had to see about a girl. He just disappeared one day. It's like
Done.
You become full playoffs. You just check in when they get to the postseason, and you're like, oh, who's good? What are we doing here?
I don't want to survive the parade. I will celebrate responsibly, and then once I'm done celebrating responsibly, I'm going to celebrate irresponsibly doing my own stuff, and I'm just going to Thanos dust, turn into ash, and just disappear. The podcast will just be these 4 screens, except there'll be no faces in front of them. We'll have just gone to the fucking moon thanks to Uncle Stevie. But before we get there, we need to get some fucking horses back to get us to the World Series. So we're going to give some updates here. Scherzer making his rehab start in Binghamton with McCann catching. Who was the one who said they should have Alvarez catching?
Yeah.
Big cosign.
Let's go. Let's give the kid a shot. What if Max Scherzer's like, yo, he's the best catcher I've ever pitched to. Bring him up.
Would have been really cool if it was like, oh yeah, Francisco Alvarez catches him, thinks he's amazing, and they come up together. It would have been awesome. But
and even just for his development, say it anyway. Let Max pitch, even if it doesn't go well. Tell the media, yeah, this kid's great. Actually, I don't know. I mean, that's undue pressure, but that's the opportunity to do it. Max is a professional. He doesn't need to work with McCann before he gets back. He can pitch to anybody. Let the kid have a shot. Who knows? I
guarantee it's if you ask Scherzer, if McCann ever goes out to the mound, it'll be like the old Bob Gibson story. The only thing you know about pitching is that you can't hit it. That's what he's
right.
Back in the day. So I'd love to see him pitch to a guy because guess what? If Scherzer stays here the next 2 years, I imagine he is. He's going to be throwing it for Francisco Alvarez at some point. And if all goes according to plan, he won't be throwing to James McCann as much, which, by the way, shout out to Nito, too, because I think our boy Patty Mazzy is straight up on the outs with the pitch.
Oh,
I mean, that Bassett start had to have, put him on the shit list where it's like, dude, you don't even know, the signs.
5 Nito starts in a row is unreal.
With day games and night games and, you're tired at that point. He's pulling a Yachty Molina. That's when you know. You're like,
I'm expecting Nito to catch tonight too while I'm at it.
The fact that Buck of all people would be 100% against giving not giving your catcher a break, and the fact that I'm kind of torn on this now because there is the night game tomorrow, a 2:00 day game out of the fucking blue on a Wednesday. The baseball gods are truly shining down upon us after that West Coast stretch. I am just so happy as a baseball fan, not even because of the winning, but it's the couple Marlin Day games, this day game against the Astros, everything is just fun. We two off days this week. It's
watching
beautiful.
a regular ass movie at night is amazing.
I watched Top Gun last night for the first time. I got halfway through.
Shocked. I cannot believe you haven't seen Top Gun.
Kevin will understand this. I don't know.
The original one?
Yeah.
The original.
What?
Okay. Hear me out here. This is the reason. So obviously the new Top Gun is out and everyone fucking loves it. I mean, the only thing I compared on Twitter to the reviews of Top Gun was the Popeyes chicken sandwich. There's not been one bad thing said about it. And I'm like, I got to get to the Top Gun movie, but I haven't seen the original. Now, Kev, you'll understand this. Kyle, maybe. Phil, definitely not. The reason I haven't watched Top Gun, kids, it came out, when I was, young, but playing that Nintendo game, it was the hardest game of all time. You could shoot the guys, but landing on the fucking aircraft carrier was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And someone compared it online absolutely perfectly. It was the Hudson River level of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's fucking impossible. So it's fuck this movie. I'm never going to watch this movie. But now I'm watching it, and I'm watching it in 2022. It is so over the top cheesy. It is fucking perfection.
Brutal. Yeah.
I actually know the Top Gun game you're talking about, Clem, the one for the NES.
Wow.
Yes, I do know old school gaming. That was a bad game.
That is a game that you just don't even, you're just well, no one can beat this. No one in the world has ever beat this game. I'm just stopping.
My running joke for Top Gun is that they only have the same 3 songs for the soundtrack, and they literally just pause it until later in the scene, and they just press play. You just start from there. It's Danger Zone and Balls of Fire and the other one. That's it.
And the new one, everyone, talking about propaganda. It's it's propaganda. That's why it's fucking awesome. That's why I want to go join the Navy right fucking now. Put me in a plane. Let's go. Mach 10.
I just hope that none of our players have any dreams of going to the Army during our World Series run, like World War II.
Well, how about our team all deciding to have a family in the middle of the goddamn season? I mean, guys, family planning. I think we talked about it last episode, right? You got to fuck in February. It's crazy. Everybody banged it in October, like right after the season ended. Come on.
It's kind of working out perfectly, though, because Lugo needed the break. And I've also, before you came on, I gave my Puerto Rican spin zone. Kev, you know how wives are at the end of pregnancy.
Yeah, that's true.
When they can't sleep, they're on their side. Our boy was probably tending to his wife. He probably had some sleepless nights. He's going to have some more, probably. Which, by the way, Nikki the Good said he hopes Seth Lugo has a baby that stays up all night.
That is the meanest thing that anyone's ever said.
And you said you only do it to like Yankees and like
Braves fans. I would reserve that for only the worst of the worst scum from the Yankees and the Braves. Like wishing someone has a kid who doesn't sleep is like that's you have some anger issues, dude. That is dark. That is dark stuff.
Is there any Met that you would have wished that upon? During
you said, damn, man, it's not like he's Aaron Heilman.
Like late era Luis Castillo, or
it's just such a mean thing to do to a guy. It's like you just can't. That is no. There's not a Met alive. At the end of the day, I'm a Mets fan. I'm not gonna wish that upon anybody. I would legit I wish death on those people before I wish them a good
yes. Yeah, because it's a fate worse than death, because then like your brain starts breaking down. You're not sure what's real, what's not. You start having just crazy like I'll never forget I put my fucking milk in where my coffee mugs go. Because like my brain was just like everything's on a fucking thing. The baby milk went into like the garbage.
It sounds like you're in Guantanamo.
Yes, it is.
It is.
I've like read before that like they talk about the effects of when you have a sleepless child are literally similar to when they use sleep deprivation to fuck with people. It's literal torture. And that's just how the human race, like we haven't evolved at all to a higher level of this. It makes no fucking sense.
It makes no fucking sense. But again, so we're giving Lugo a little bit of a break. Obviously having a kid now I imagine they probably have like help that could help them with those, like if the baby doesn't sleep, but you have to think like Lugo, McNeil, and who's the third? Peterson.
Peterson who bitched yesterday with the thought of, is his wife going to go into labor or fiance, whoever it is.
As this is like how fucked up we are right now. I'm like, please have the baby tonight now because he has 5 days till his next start. Yeah. That's how I'm thinking now as a fan.
It's also crazy when you're like, please, we need David Peterson to start. I mean, that's the fact that you're a first place team, best in the National League, and you got some of these guys like that. And I mean, not to knock them, they've done a great job. They've done amazing filling in, but it's like.
A lot of tightrope walking though in that start, like those first 2 innings.
Like the magic is gonna run out. I think it's like Ty Walker last year with the first and second half, even more so because they're I don't even think they're at Ty Walker's level. So like we need those guys back, or something's gonna have to change because you just can't get that type of performance from Trevor Williams, David Peterson, and who knows when McGill comes back. If he comes back, it's just not sustainable. So I think that the deadline to me is like all about bullpen and another starter. I would love, let's go over the top and grab another bat somehow. But that bullpen, I thought the seventh inning against the Marlins with Bassett, I thought was the worst inning of the year, managerially, pitching wise, everything wise. Like he never should have started that inning. He definitely should have been pulled after the single. Definitely should have been pulled after the next hit. And should have never been in for the next walk. And then if you're going to bring in a reliever with one out and the bases loaded, I know Lugo is like the veteran, but he doesn't have like strikeout stuff. He's not pitching well right now. I honestly would have preferred Medina in that spot again. Like, we're throwing you to the fire again, kid. Let's see if you can blow somebody away with your stuff. So like all of these guys, there's a lot of tightrope walking. There's a little bit of magic, a lot of luck floating around, and like, some guts and some talent, but also, that's just not going to fly in the second half, and certainly not in the postseason.
Yeah, and everyone's saying like, you can't keep calling them the best team in the league when they can't beat these best pitchers. Like, if we're in the playoffs,
oh my fucking God, is that what's happening now?
Yes,
we're gonna kill absolutely everybody. Everyone in the world. I'm gonna have to go on a murder spree and kill every single person who's alive. Jesus Christ!
If we're in the playoffs and we have David Peterson starting versus Corbin Burns or Chris Bassett starting versus Sandy Alcantara, yes, something went very, very wrong.
Oh my God! Jesus fucking Christ!
I want our ace versus their ace in the playoffs, not our 3 versus their 1 or our 7 versus their 1.
It is absolutely insane how fucking stupid. I love it. Keep exposing yourselves as stupid fucking morons because we've taken every dumb narrative and we've shoved it up your fucking stupid asses and down your dumb throats. Keep doing it, you morons.
I quote tweeted someone. I was like, if the Mets have to play Sandy Alcantara and the Marlins in the playoffs, I will not watch the game.
Right.
You can put me to that.
You can pencil in a loss. If that happens, like put it in ink. Fine. See you next game. Get the fuck out of here.
And for the people that were shitting on Lugo, he's still a guy that any other team would take. Like he's somebody where if he's right and he comes out of the bullpen and it's like a good day, it's like, okay, you have a better than 50-50 shot. But like, yeah, they need help. There's no way that the bullpen pans out if they don't get somebody else.
They need somebody else like who has a fraction of Diaz's like power, where it's just like you're fucked. Like this guy's coming in and you have one guy who you feel like he's gonna blow everybody away. The rest is either they're young and they might be good, but they're inexperienced, or they're old and they're crafty, but they might be flat. And you just need someone else who can throw the ball hard and has good shit and is like, except for Diaz, I think everybody else, the hitter, like the offense has the advantage, and we're just like praying and hoping to get through it. Whereas, good bullpens are like, you are fucked when this guy comes in the game.
And I said in the chat, we do kind of miss Trevor May. Like, we completely forgot about him.
Even just like a guy who throws hard, like, a good hard fastball. He said he's a couple more weeks away, so we still got a while for him. But, yeah, like that's to me, that's going to have to be the number one at the deadline. And depending on Scherzer and DeGrom.
Everyone needs that except for like the Yankees.
Yes, right.
Yeah, back in the day, the Yankees didn't need much because you had Mariano, and then you'd hope that the guys are throwing 7. You'd need one other guy to like just bridge that gap. Nowadays, especially with these guys having like some injury problems, let's say Scherzer and DeGrom are fully ramped up, they're going full tilt. Like even then, you'd be very happy with 7. So you need at least 2 guys, and then you need a 4th reliever to be able to switch in and out, days on and days off.
Right. So there's like a lot of work. Like I hope Epler is ready to like basically reconstruct the whole bullpen.
And then it's like everybody's going to eat themselves because everybody's still in the hunt and they're all going to look for the same like 4 teams to pick apart.
Right.
I think we are seeing some separation though in the standings. Like some of the shittier teams are like falling deeper down the standings. So, I love that picture of Billy. That's awesome.
That guy. Do you feel good right now after looking at this guy? Does that make you feel better?
Look, this fucking guy is going to pull some shit out of him. Like, the way he's got to be feeling so cocky after his offseason to finish off like with a good trade deadline would be like manager, GM of the year type shit. I think him and Uncle Stevie are going to be like, let's go butt fuck the rest of the league at the trade deadline. Meek, what were you talking about? Like specifically, what teams are falling off?
There's at least like 9 teams right now that are double-digit game. Wait, 4, 7. Okay, now so 7 teams are double-digit games out of a playoff spot. Those are definite sellers. You're not coming back from that.
Right.
Then you have the Mariners and the Orioles. I think those teams are going to be 2 definite sellers. And then the Marlins and Rockies and D-backs, I think those teams are going to fall off and sell too. Yeah. I don't think those teams are going to get hot. So I think you are seeing some separation between teams that are going to sell and teams that maybe thought they were in it like a week or 2 ago.
Right. That's what's – I mean, the third wild card with the trade deadline is the thing we don't know. Right. Like that's still very, very new, and we have to find out how that affects like the league because there's a bunch of dumb morons who are going to be buyers when they absolutely should be sellers.
And you guys like last year with the Braves, like they were 5 out of the wild card. People thought like, oh, should they have sold or should they have gone in? Like you're gonna say if you're even close to a playoff spot, you're gonna want a chance of seeing what the Braves did last year.
But the Braves were. I mean,
I get it. They're all smoke and mirrors. But if you're a team and you want to like rile up the fans,
you're
gonna want to be the next Braves.
And if you have a team that has like 10 guys that all have like 20 plus home runs at the break, and you know that you're actually good, and the record isn't showing you yet, fine. But there's gonna be some guys who just straight up stink. Who are like, no, we're only 4 games out. And it's like, yeah, you're 4 games out, but you're 10 teams out. And they should be sellers, and they're not going to be. And it's going to drive me fucking crazy watching some reliever or some starter just pitch for some shit team down the stretch that should have been on the block.
And let me tell you, Kev, why that's not going to matter. Because, like, there will be a couple teams that'll probably do that and fuck up everything and not be sellers when they should be. But then there's going to be teams who are going to say that. And then they're going to get a phone call from fucking Billy Epler with Uncle Stevie on the line as well. And they're going to say, hey, you know that contract that's butt fucking you the rest of the year? throw that this way. Don't
We'll
worry
buy
about
it.
Uncle Stevie's
Yeah,
going to fucking wipe his mouth and then throw it to the side.
I don't think we're going to give up any players. I think we will just straight up buy contracts and be like, take all of the money, all of it. You can just put it in your pockets and just give us this guy. And I think they'll do it.
Yep. So the guy's coming back now as of now. Lugo out, right? Probably for this Astro series, and then he'll hopefully be back. Paternity is only like 3 days, right?
3 days. We could get him back in Miami.
Yeah.
Take however long you want, Seth.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't want to run anybody back.
Our boy McCann, who again, everyone said he's ready to roll. He's 0 for 9 with 7 strikeouts. He's back to Major League McCann. Like, we just can't have Nito just fucking playing every game. He's gonna break
we're running him into the ground. Tomas Nito should not be starting 6 games in a row. I love the guy to death, but
he got to show up and look at the lineup card and be like, "What?
Is this yesterday's?" He's like, "No, the starting pitcher has changed." McNeil, hamstring tweaks are fucking scary.
I know.
They said during the broadcast that they say flying with it's not a good thing.
That's what they said. I don't know what that amounts to. He iced it. They had the day off. They have the day off yesterday. So, like, he said he's day-to-day. He's definitely flying.
I hate when I hate when a guy who's hot gets hurt too.
Yeah.
And the hamstring you're gonna be worried about it the whole time. I know the Miami Heat, even though it's like an indoor stadium, and Houston, it's like those two things are gonna scare me no matter where the actual games are played. JD Double Davis, I feel like the guy always has a fucking hand injury. MRI today?
I thought we have like weekly MRI day. Like everybody go in the tube, everybody get examined.
Well, that's what I said yesterday. It's like when McNeil were gonna play the game. Oh, did her water break, or is this another hamstring tweak?
They did the X-ray, and there's no structural damage. But then, like with the swelling, they always wait.
You want to make sure there's no hairline fracture or some shit. But
can we do the Mets logo, but just it says HBPS, the HBPS? Like that kind of fucking plays. That's like Buck. We're like watching the origin story of the Joker with Buck, because they're gonna hit someone at the wrong time and he's just gonna go out and murder a pitcher for the ball getting away from him. And it's a Manfred issue, spider tack, all that kind of shit. And then best for last, our boy Janko, a goddamn bone test scheduled today. See if he can pass that and get back in the lineup.
Janko is probably like, do you even want? I mean, like he came up, stole some bases, scored from first a couple times, and that was it. And now he's just been like a ghost. I'm like, did that even happen? Was that a real thing that happened? No. When he comes back, he'll take whose spot? If he
probably Plummer, maybe. Yeah, Plummer deserves to get everyday playing time in AAA. Like,
and actually, what Janko does provide is much more, useful than Plummer like batting 0.85. I mean, the at bat he had the other day was like 3 straight pitches. I was like, I don't even blame you, kid. Just like
based on the Cy Young, I'm not expecting much. Like, just look, play every day in AAA. I don't think having him up here playing like twice a week is really doing much.
Right.
So we'll see how that all goes. Again, got 2 games against the Astros here, and we got 2 games against the Astros here, and then we got 2 games coming back in a weird home and home that's a week apart, but I kind of love that little double dip in the middle of the week. And if you're going to get your tickets back when this fucking wagon of a team is back in check, you got to get them at GameTime. They are the exclusive ticketing app of Barstool Sports, and it's the only place to get the best, cheapest, last-minute tickets. You want to live that Stu Finer life without having a Stu Finer bank account, you get on GameTime. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you never thought you could buy. Kev, you did that. Kev did that in at Wrigley. I know he got fucking awesome seats at Wrigley. Got to watch the Cubbies for a cheap price. So as always, download the GameTime app. Go to the account tab to create a login and redeem code BELIEVE for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download GameTime. Last minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed. I know we have a couple listeners who have done that, so I'm going to get some feedback from them. They were doing it for some games coming up. We'll get the reviews for you guys on here. But again, everyone I know loves their GameTime. And let's see, Astros and Rangers are the 5 games at home, so that should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to that little homestand there before the 4th of July. We got fireworks night coming out. Get your GameTime tickets. Go out to fireworks night. Have yourself a heck of a time with the kids. Absolutely love it. Phil, tell me about the Houston Astros, because I barely follow outside the NL East, the other fucking league.
So they're the second best team in the American League, right behind the Yankees. They're pretty much just on par with us, honestly, in terms of like run differential. We're a couple of games better, but we do luck out by missing both Framber and Verlander. We face Urquidy and Garcia, who I think we're pretty evenly matched versus the Astros. Their star shortstop, Jeremy Pena, replaced Carlos Correa. He's on the IL. Yordan Alvarez, one of the best hitters in the league. He may be out of the lineup. We don't know yet, but it should be a good series. I'm hoping for at least a split.
Yep. Kyle, anything from you with the Astros from what you've seen?
I think it lines up that Trevor Williams is going up against a guy that has a 5 ERA on their team. So it's like their shitty guy against our guy who's just filling in. It's like it is what it is. McNeil, I don't expect to be in the lineup today, so we're going to have to deal with that. And then you have JD with the MRI. What does that mean for us? It means Guillorme and Escobar, which are nice fill-ins if we need them to be.
But you know what else that could mean?
But yeah, any other team they'd be happy with it. So I don't think we're going to lose anything like in terms of the lineup. They need to hit early and often though, so we'll see.
You know what else that can mean? That can mean Dom Smith could be in the lineup, and maybe we could see his first home run. We could see his first home run in 11 months.
Very true. The dugout was happy to see him back, so I was happy to see him back. I mean, Buck said that the only reason they sent him down is so he could work on some things, and I just took that as you need to shut the fuck up if you want to continue to be on the team, and it seems like that's what happened.
We're going to see how your mouth is working, Dom.
Yeah.
Two big things here. Obviously, we talked about it last week, but Jeremy Pena is out and Yordan Alvarez is day to day. The game, the off day, I know the last couple of days, I believe.
Just give him 2 more off days. Let's let him heal up perfectly fine. Not an issue with me.
I would love if Buck went to Dustin before the game. Was like, all right, listen, I'm gonna sit McNeil, you're gonna sit Alvarez. We're just gonna take it easy with these guys. Everyone fucking wins in the end, and just made the best man. We both have these kind of shitty pitchers on the mound today, and I. It's always Houston's one of those places like that. It's like a funky stadium where it's not as bad as some of the other ones, but there's always a chance for just tomfoolery and hijinks to take place here with home runs and crazy shit like that. So
I wish they would have left the flagpole in center field. Missed opportunity by that.
Yeah. The hill's not there anymore, is it?
No, they got rid of it.
That was the dumbest fucking thing.
Loved it.
The fact no one's career just ended and their legs exploded on the spot is a miracle in itself. So yeah, I think a split is what we're all hoping for. A win tonight would be awesome, and then we kind of just go from there. And then having the off day on Thursday, then going back to Miami, and then having an off day before Houston comes back in, and then another off day after the Houston series. It's a fucking beautiful thing. And yeah, I got to plug Barstool. The Ballpark is next Tuesday, which is a 7:10 game. It's on TBS too, so I don't know if that means SNY won't have it. So
no, we'll have it. TBS isn't just exclusive. Oh no, TBS.
If you don't want to listen to the TBS crew, I don't care if Ronnie's there or not. You're gonna want to watch it out with us. Unlimited beer from an hour before the game to 2 hours, or to the 7th inning, whatever comes first. An absolute crazy game, crazy time during that Mariners game, which was our last one. So this one's on a Tuesday for the people that can't do Saturday because of work, because of family stuff, whatever it may be. So we'll be out there, and we're
also adding more events, by the way. I just want to get this out there now. We're doing some bar watches. It's going to come up in July. We already have all the dates set, so we'll be putting that out there to everybody. But when the team's away, we're going to do some Mets Mondays where we're going to be at some bars in the city. So be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Yep. When the Mets are away, the We Gotta Bleed boys will play. It'll be fun time. So I guess we'll see. It's this little mini series, which is kind of nice. Get a little preview against the other league. Add some more fucking winning teams to the schedule so we can kill that whole strength of schedule narrative, which was a fucking joke to begin with.
Schedule us 4 games versus the Dodgers while you're at it. We're not scared of them.
Exactly. So no matter what happens this series, no matter what happens next week, no matter what happens to the team that is a motherfucking wagon that does nothing but win series, gotta believe.
Gotta believe.